Hi there, I'm Lanna Monday with the Napoleon Foundation, and today I'm with Ramy El-Batrawi. How are we, Ramy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Lanna?
Oh, I'm very good, Ramy. Glad to be here with you and talk a little bit about a new book that you have out. It's called Can You Really Think and Grow Rich? Now, for those of you who don't know Ramy is a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He's a philanthropist. He has his hand in a whole lot of different businesses and innovative financial ideas. And he does amazing things. But what is really amazing about it is his story, because Ramy came from rags. So he has rags to riches story, but it's not just a single cycle. As I understand, it's been rag to riches times 4, 5, 6, a few times, right?
Absolutely.
So, Ramy, can you tell us a little bit about your background in terms of how you got to the point that you wanted to write Can You Really Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, absolutely. I picked up the book when I was really, really young, when I was 12 years old, and I was just ready to receive that information. I don't know why at 12 I was, but I did. And I read that book over and over again. And one of the principles, it said, do not procrastinate. And so I was thinking, should I do 3 more years of high school and 4 years of college, or could I take my next 7 years and really do something with these principles? And I decided to hitchhike to Florida,
Oh,
to America.
no. Oh,
Yeah, so I
my.
ended up in Florida. So at 12, I was on my own and only with the principles of Think and Grow Rich.
Oh,
So
wow.
I wanted to show the world in this book that you could start with absolutely nothing. So poverty, lack of education, none of that stuff it should stop you from succeeding. So I ended up in Tampa. I was homeless until I was 17. Made the first million at 17, then ended up losing that around 19.
Oh,
But
no.
I made the 15 million by 23. And then I wanted a bigger goal because I saw something on television at Khashoggi, and I wanted to reach $1 billion. So I took and risked all that, and I went broke again. But before I was age 32, I hit $1 billion. So the book shows that you could achieve anything. There's no limits, and it continues on to where even when I did that, and I thought that I was good, events of 9/11 caused me to lose everything, and I started back in poverty.
Oh,
And not only that, there's a point where I did die, and the rest of it, man, I had $21 left in the streets, and when my mind became clear again, I made it a goal all over again. Within 5 years, I'll build everything I had and more, and I achieved that too. So now I have the businesses worth in the billions. I have my own private jet all over again. That's a huge jet. I mean, it's like an apartment. It's the largest cabin, has a bedroom,
wow.
shower, living room, and so many other things. And I took a lot of pictures. The book will have a lot of pictures in there, so you could see, because I knew I was going to make it back. So documented. I took those pictures when
Yeah,
it was
credible.
$21
Yep.
or when I died. So I just wanted to show, because I knew what I was going to do, because I already had confidence if I used principles before, I was going to do it
Yeah.
again. And then I waited to write the book until I did succeed. So I showed proof. So the whole book is just proof that you can succeed and get anything you want, and it applies to anybody. I mean, I was
Right.
12, was absolutely nothing and no contacts, nothing in the streets, and I was able to build that wealth. And I could do it all over again tomorrow. Also, I could go penniless anywhere in the world, and 6 months later, I'll have money. And the book, I started the book the way Think and Grow Rich ended the book, where I put all the alibis in the front, because I want people to really read the alibis that they use themselves and
Yeah,
they could
sure.
use. And back in 1930s, is stuff also that there's new alibis about
Yeah.
bad things on the internet or stuff. He did stuff. I wanted to prove that there's not an alibi or an excuse in the world that you cannot succeed, and that's what I did. And the success is not only for just money. I mean, the book goes through, like, I battled the government for 7 years, how I won that battle. It was all because principles Think and Grow Rich stuff
Right.
me in there, or how I won the love of my life. 18 years of fighting for her and stuff. So the books and the principles is not only for money; it's really for anything you want out of life. So it's really why I think the book has been well received, and Don Green has been endorsing it. And I really like what Don Green said. He said, Napoleon Hill said one day somebody would come along and have an extension and prove his
Right.
work. And
Right.
that's why I think Don was really flattering in that he saw that I was a person that actually wrote that book to be able to really show that those principles actually worked.
Right. Right. And I have to ask this question.
Mhm.
Who gave you your very first copy of Think and Grow Rich?
That was funny. There was somebody in school that I knew, and I don't know how he got it or not. And we were both losers in school. I was a kid everybody beat up on and everything. But it
Oh,
was
no.
really interesting because I was given that book and I built all this, and he had the book first, and he stayed and lived with his mother till he was 50 and did nothing with his life. So it's really, you have to be ready and decide to make a decision and follow those principles, so
Yeah.
so sometimes I say, even if you don't get it, buy the book and give it to somebody else and let them succeed. It's good to have a friend that's extremely successful, so when you need help, he's there. So that's an interesting question. Yeah, it was really interesting how that all
And then my next question for you is, how long did it take you to write your book?
Well, it was in my mind, in my head for a while, but it took about a year to write my book. And so I wrote the book for about a year, knowing as I was building that I was going to get there. And the last 2 months, because I dropped out of high school and everything, I did hire this English professor to go over there and clean up my grammar and make it like so it is the book is really well written. If you saw my version, it was really sloppy. But at the end, those 2 months with that English professor did make the book really good. But I did invite him to stay with me for a week. He traveled with me for a week. He understood how I thought, because I wanted my voice to come out of it, even though he was going to clean it up, because I wanted him to leave enough and understand. And we talked for 2 months every day. He sent me drafts, I corrected. So the book is a lot like Think and Grow Rich, because what Napoleon Hill did, I know he wrote that 12-volume novel of Secrets of Success, but nobody will read that big of a book. So he condensed it to that one book, Think and Grow Rich. But he condensed, it's the same information in one book. So every word, every line means something. That's why you could read it over and over again and get something new out of it.
Right.
So I made my book the same way. I could have wrote, a 10,000-page book with all the experiences I had, but I condensed it to 177 pages. But every single word means something, and you could read it over and over again and get something new. And it's really interesting. So the two books together, it'll change anybody's life if they really take it to heart and believe, because it does work for me. And I know Think and Grow Rich made more millionaires than any other book.
Right.
And every other inspirational book or self-help book has been based off that book.
Yeah.
Everything Anthony Robbins does, anybody, the movie The Secrets, it's
Yeah.
all based off of
Absolutely.
Napoleon Hill's book. So go to the original. And the reason why it lasts over 100 years is because
It works.
Yeah, and
It's
truth
because it
always
works.
lasts the test of time. If it wasn't really true, and if it doesn't work, if it wasn't real,
Yeah.
it wouldn't last 100 years. It'll last. It'll be here 1,000 years from now, because
Yeah.
those principles are true. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really
they're timeless. Absolutely timeless. And they work.
And what I like what I did with my book is I kind of just, because it was written in 1930, I kind of modernized it to today, because of different challenges, different opportunities,
Sure.
different things that happen today, like the internet and different opportunities. I wanted to show it. I know like Napoleon Hill interviewed Henry Ford and all those guys of those eras as great industry builders and stuff. But today it's a whole different ball game. But the principle is still the principle. So I show that work still applies to everything that happens today.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. I mean, I wrote this book, so and it's not to show off or tell people what I have or what I did. Was to inspire people to say, oh, if Ramy can do this, and he's a little 12-year-old Arab boy in the streets, then me, who's here in America, that have even additional opportunity, I can achieve success to anything I want.
Right. And it's inspiration is really important, for people. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter if you're a teenager or you're midlife or even elderly. I mean, everybody needs inspiration because it gives people hope, and that's very important.
Yeah,
know.
and even more than that, like people say, oh, you got to think positive and everything else, but I even put in the book, positive thinking is not enough, because
Yeah, you
positive
gotta have
thinking is
action.
just a yeah, but it's also positive thing. It's just a very thin layer around all that negative thinking you've had all your life.
Yeah,
So what Napoleon Hill does, and what I do in my book, and explain the additional principle to kind of take that positive and go deeper. So it kind of wipes out all this negative thinking and changes the way you think, because you
right.
become what you think of most of the time. So if you pick up another book or get a seminar and they teach you positive thing, you're excited for a day, just give it a few days, all the world and all the negative stuff will just permeate and come back, and all that
Yeah,
positive thinking is out the window. So you need to get deeper into really changing your mind. And that's what both Napoleon Hill's work and what I do in my book, to help people change forever the way they think.
right. And the great thing about having a book, whether it's an ebook or an actual hardcover or softcover book in your hands, is at any time you can go back and reference whatever it is that you're struggling with that day, and just sit down and reread and go back and rethink, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And on my site and Amazon, I'm going to have the audio book up the next couple of days too. So
oh,
it's a great
yay.
thing to get. So if you're driving a car, you just plug it back in,
So
plug it in.
are you
And it'll refresh.
narrating the book?
No, actually, I got a professional, because I think I stumble when I
Oh,
speak. It's very hard for me. But he does a really amazing job.
oh,
But it's
such
very
a great
inspirational.
voice. You should have done.
Yeah, one day, maybe I'll do the next one. Maybe I do a second version where I do it. I got to try it. But I didn't know if I was able to read 3 hours straight without really stumbling all over the place.
Oh. Well, I'm sure we would have loved to have heard you.
No. Yeah, I'm better at freestyling.
You
Yeah.
can learn more about this book and actually buy your own copy. And you can get it with a copy of the original 1937 Think and Grow Rich. It's a special offer, $29.95 plus shipping. And it is available from canyoureallythinkandgrowrich.com. Right?
Yep.
All
You
right.
can get that, and you get the hardback book or the book by itself. But I think the combination is a really good deal. $29.95. You get both books, the
Absolutely.
original that was written in 1937, not all the copies afterwards that they've cut it and made it shorter enough to have the same full impact of what the original book was.
So
So,
if folks want to give the gift of success and inspiration and thought and perseverance and PMA and all those wonderful different facets listed in Think and Grow Rich, definitely two book deal combo. Can You Really Think and Grow Rich by Ramy, and the original 1937 Think and Grow Rich. Can You Really Think and Grow Rich.com. Thanks so much.